Nick wasn't sure what to buzz for someone who lived on the ground floor of an apartment, and right as he got up to the door, he noticed that Sophia was actually taking out her trash right as he had gotten there. It was rather serendipitous. So they were on their way. They hardly knew each other, but quickly they were already engaging in desultory conversation, asking each other stuff like, "Do you like your roommates?" and "Does your laundry take coins or swipes?" And they were acting interested. At this time, a little ways up the street, there was this guy, maybe 6 foot something, standing there. The kind of guy you know, the kind of guy that loiters professionally. And he was swaggering up the sidewalk as Nick and Sophia passed by. And right as he goes by, Nick says to Sophia, "Hey, somebody tell this guy Halloween's in October." And this wounded him. And later with his buddy, he would say, "I don't know what's cool anymore." His friend really wouldn't have much of an answer. Well, the crosswalks had been deciding Nick and Sophia's path for the past 43 minutes, so at one point Sophia says, "We should get coffee." "God, I love this city," Nick says. "Why?" Sophia says, unimpressed. And he just says, "What's not to love?" A vague enough response. However, what the two failed to remember was that it was April 20th, and the park they were going to, Washington Square Park, would be an absolute zoo today. But they agreed to go in nonetheless. The two tried to navigate through the park of people celebrating a vice neither of them were particularly fond of, though Nick did have something of a fling with a synthetic imitation back in high school, until Sophia finally said, "Can we get out of here?" So Nick was talking about a short film of his he was going to make. He was talking about Godard. How no one shoots conversations like him and how he would. But, well, Sophia was actually just trying to think of an out. But she knew she had nothing going on till 6. Well, they were finally at the proper park for their occasion when Nick was saying, "Back there on the street, it was just like that Bob Dylan album cover, or Panic in Needle Park. If we were in a movie, the poster would say, 'God help Nick and Sophia.'" Well, the coffee was getting to do that thing where it gets to be somehow colder than room temp, and they were walking along, right as Nick would see his buddy, and his buddy would see him, and he would go up to him and say, "Eli fucking Bean." And he would say, "Nick fucking Speed." Well, things started pleasant enough between the four of them, but pretty soon it was just Nick and Eli going back and forth about old times, talking about putting icy hot on some poor third friend's genitals for fun. At some point, Eli offered to take their photo, though, so Nick and Sophia looked to each other and they said, "Sure, why not?" So he takes the photo, and Nick says, "Hey, you think I could get another one? My eyes were closed, I feel like." He says, "Sorry, man, I don't have that many exposures left." And, they were going to see a movie, and even Sophia wanted to say which one, but she wouldn't, of course. Nick was talking about buying a gun for self-defense, but also just out of irony. And then Sophia, I don't know, she turned to him, but at some point she left. She was alone. But I forget what that day was. No, because they didn't go to the park that day. No, they stayed because Nick got a ticket for trying to go through the exit door. And then later he said, "It's a good thing I practiced stoicism," which also rubbed Sophia the wrong way. And they didn't see chickens. They went to the butcher shop. And was that guy they saw, was he I think that was someone Sophia had just read about. No, the guy they saw he was playing tennis. And Nick wasn't a dick to him. He said, "I think I know that guy." And it wasn't passive aggressive. He said he had great form. No, now. And I'm starting to get skeptical myself that any of this happened. Yeah. Yes, no, this was all by design. You can see the hanger, the practical titles that have never worked, but it's out of focus. We can hardly make it out. Why do people in films kiss sideways? Oh, I remember this. Yeah, from earlier, but they don't kiss in this. No. It was him. It was the filmmaker, but he was running out of film and tape.